we have all these ideas and we're like, okay, this is what I want. And you were even looking at, for you were looking at like, oh, like stories and like, how is this going to turn out? But the reality is, we putting this stuff on this board, but how are we going to get it? And I know a lot of people's mantra is, I'm not going to worry about the how, but no, you got to make some type of plan to go through it, because like you said, how is God going to do anything if you don't? It kind of, faith without works is dead. So speak about maybe some changed behaviors that you had in your life that forced you to be like, okay, like I have this vision, I have this goal, like now I'm going to go get it. So, talk about a little bit about your behaviors that you changed.
So with this thing called entrepreneurship, you have times, and time gets lost. So one thing that I knew I had to do was, even though the money was tight, I had to spend it on co-working space, because if I was home all day, in the beginning it was easy, but through as the months kept going, it was real easy to fall asleep on the couch. So I had to start doing actions that would lead me to better results, and unfortunately it meant spending some money in certain areas, like getting the co-working space, investing in classes that I needed to take to better myself. And one thing I can say is that I'm really good at executing. So when it comes to the plan, I'm okay at it. But that's my weakness. So I have an administrative assistant that helps me with the plan so I can put it to action. But I think a lot of times most people are focused so much on their plan that they don't execute. And sometimes they think that there's a perfect time to execute. There is no perfect time to execute. I can say, well, I'm going to launch in the spring because X, Y, and Z, or I'm going to launch in the summer. Not going to launch in the summer because everybody's living their best life. But the reality of it is, if I keep waiting for the perfect opportunity, it is never going to happen. So I took that leap. That leap happened because of the layoffs. I had actually planned to be gone the previous October. But if that didn't happen, I probably would have still been waiting. So I would say, take all the excuses, put them in the trash, and just execute. Because the best thing that'll happen is, if it fails, now you know all of the things that you did wrong, and you course correct, and then you try again. So whatever you want to do, just do it. There is no perfect plan. Just get it done and over with. And I think that's how I've been able to get things in order and just make sure that they happen.
And a lot of this, it sounds like you know yourself. So what actions to take for yourself to make sure that you get to the goal that you want to. Now, I'm a big fan of Charlemagne the God.
Yeah,
that's my guy. I love him. In his book, he says, F your dreams if they're not your dreams. A lot of the times in our community, we, because all we see is a certain success, you can go be a doctor, lawyer, rapper, ball player, so forth. That's all we see, and sometimes we can get caught up in that, all right, well, I'm gonna just do that then. So I want to ask you, how do you differentiate your actual dreams from somebody else's that you might have saw that was a success? So how do you do that?
A couple of things. One, I put everybody on mute. Even people who are in my lane, like my competition, I check them out once in a while just to see what's going on, making sure that I'm on trend or whatever. But as far as anybody that is in digital marketing, social media management, all of that stuff, I don't even look. I know myself. I will go down the rabbit hole and I will start comparing myself and then get mad and then try to create some product or service that they created and try to, no, just no. I've also learned to shift my conversations with people, because sometimes it's family and it's friends that are really just nervous for you, that make you want to walk away or make you more anxious than you need to be. So my mom, I think for the first 6 months was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, stop asking me if I'm okay. What you can do is contribute to Macy's Donut Fund or go on my Amazon I quit my job list and send whatever materials are on that list if you can help out. Sometimes with friends I have to say, look, we're going to put a pin in this conversation because I didn't ask you to help me figure out the problem. I just asked you to let me vent. So it's really all about figuring out those things that are going to make you push pause or reconsider, and just getting rid of it or changing the conversation about it. So I think that has been the way that I've dealt with it. Just putting it on mute, or actually just telling people I can't right now. Like, I don't have the capacity to take on your emotions from me.
A lot of the times, especially on social media, you know, that's the highlight reel. That's the part we see, and everybody's smiling, everybody's having a good time. It's great, but we don't post the losses on our social media. We don't post the failures. We don't post the times where we're in our room isolated trying to figure it out. We don't post those times. So I want to ask you, like, what was your biggest loss, and how did you overcome it?
Two. First one, my self-care. I was really bad with that last year. Like, gained a whole bunch of weight. So a few years ago, I lost 50 pounds. I was all into it, but I also didn't have anything else to do. So I could go to the gym 5, 6, 7 times a week because I could get up at 5 a.m. and just go to the gym. And when I was side hustling, I would get up at 5 a.m., work, go to work at 9 to 5, and then come home and work again, and then get up, then close down at like 12 o'clock. So because I was trying to always catch up, my health went to the side. I was like, ugh. So 2019, I gotta fix that. But that was one of the biggest losses, I think, because it made me feel worse about myself than I usually do. The second thing would be my relationship. I felt like, and not just with my boyfriend, but with my family as well. Like, my little brother, I hadn't been to any of his games for his basketball, and he's graduating this year from college, and so, like, that's kind of bad. I didn't see any of his games last year because I was working so much, or not going to see my mom as often as I used to. When she would come over, I'd be on the couch on the computer while she's just sitting there watching TV. So those are my two biggest losses, I would say, last year, and I plan to fix those this year. And I think what happens with social media, especially because I'm on it all day long, like, I can't take a break from social media. A lot of people can take that break to get their mental health back together, but I always know, like, this is a lie, and then I move on. I know this is a lie. Or when some people are like, yeah, I did this, and now I get to fly all over the place, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, bruh, you 1 year into business. No. Frauding. Yeah. Because if you have that much money in your first year, and this is not all the cases, but your money from your first year of business needs to go back to your business. Plan to be poor for at least 5, okay? So people think like, oh, you have money because you're doing your own thing, you must, no. Any extra bit of money I have goes into a savings account for business, goes to some resource that I need, some conference that I need to do, some type of space. So, like, I just know off the top, bro, you lying, skip next, thank you.